Alright, I got a new video. The name is Sacred Symbolism and Spiritual Anatomy. I may change the name by the time I upload it, but we're going to go through how sacred symbolism is really referring to our body. Your body is the written word. It is the physical world. And if you look at the word world, you can see word. So your body is God's word made flesh. And since we are all creators made in God's image, the body is also our words, our internal consciousness made flesh. So your body is the Bible and the temple that contains and houses God. We will start on a broad scale and move inward. The Torah, Hebrew for instruction or teaching. The Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible. It is the written word, aka law. So here you see a picture of Jesus' hand holding the Torah and the 7 seals. The Torah. And in Revelations, when they talk about opening the 7 seals, only one person is able to open those seals. So this is from Revelations 5:5. An elder said, "Do not weep. See, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, has triumphed. He is able to open the scrolls and its 7 seals." The Lion of the tribe of Judah is Jesus. So it's Christ consciousness, or Christ, that opens the Torah. And in my opinion, I believe Christ is a consciousness, not a being. Jesus went into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights and came out transformed. Basically, his consciousness was transformed. And we all have this potential within us. We all have that available to us if we work towards it. So Christ is not a being, but an empowered and non-judgmental, loving, accepting state of consciousness. So that's what is required to open the Torah. So far we've established that the Torah is the word, instruction, and law of God, and that one has to be an empowered and non-judgmental consciousness to open and use the Torah, the power of it. So we're going to break it down and really look at the Torah itself and a couple of other components that tie in. My life path has been to take the mystical and take it apart and make it understandable, because it's all a metaphor. The Bible is a metaphor. So let's look a little bit closer at the Torah. The Torah is an energy field that engulfs our physical body and at the same time runs down the center of our body. It's like a donut. Like you can think of this about a donut with that round circle and the hole in the center. This field is called a toroidal field. Now notice the similarity between the words Torah and toroidal field. On the left you see the scroll, the Torah, in Jesus' hand. In the center you see a picture of the human body, the 7 chakras, and the toroidal field around that. And then the third picture you see on the right is a moving toroidal field pulling energy in through the top and bottom. And this energy field is surrounding us. Not only is it surrounding us, it's surrounding every living thing, from the quarks to the atoms to cells to humans to the earth to the solar system and to the universe. It's like a bunch of nested toroidal fields, infinite nested fields. And I really believe that these nested fields are possible probabilities relating to quantum mechanics and probable realities, or probable things that can happen. So your toroidal field is actually a space-time machine. If you look at the word toroidal, I love to look at words and take them apart and put them back together a different way. If you take all the letters of toroidal, you get toroidal, a round dial. And it makes me think of E.T. phoning home or phoning own. If you follow quantum mechanics coupled with the law of attraction, you will realize that we are bleeping in and out of multiple realities from moment to moment on a daily basis. I really do believe that we are bleeping in and out of multiple realities. And it's happening so fast that we don't really comprehend any major shift. The thing is that sometimes we bleep into what we want and we bleep back out. So we're bleeping in and out all the time. And we're going to go over the mechanism of that. So the toroidal field also brings in the Merkaba. And just inside the toroidal field, you'll find a 2D Star of David shape. And the 2D Star of David really represents a 3D energy field called the Merkaba. And the Merkaba is an energy field, as you can see, the center picture there, that it surrounds us. It's three-sided triangle, one going up and one going down, and they spin in opposite directions. So the Jewish Star of David was actually referring to that Merkaba energy field around us. The Merkaba is two intersecting three-sided pyramids that spin in opposite directions. You can see that purple picture there as it spins in opposite directions. This is part of the whole space-time machine. So I'm really going over different components of the space-time machine that you are, but they all integrate. They all go together. So the Star of David is inside the toroidal field, but you could also say that the Star of David creates the toroidal field, as well as saying the toroidal field creates the Star of David. They're interchangeable. They're interlocked together. And this is referred to in the Merkaba anyway. In biblical terms, Ezekiel's wheels within wheels and Elijah's chariots of fire. Both of these are talking about vehicles that are spiritual and that go beyond physical matter. The Torah is also relating to a torsion tube. So inside that toroidal field, that hollow space, like if you had a donut, the hollow space in the center would be the torsion tube. It's where the energy is really spinning around and around. And you have a funnel going in from the top and a funnel coming in from the bottom. So in the center of the toroidal field, you find a torsion tube. Again, look at the similarities between Torah and torsion tube and toroidal field. Again, you have the spinning one on the left, but then I love this one in the center, where you see the torsion tube down the center, and you can also see the chakra colors. I'm going to give you a different perception of the chakras as we go through this video. And then the picture on the left is like going inside the toroidal field that you see spinning on the left and looking at that column of light, which is what you are. So this torsion tube, which is basically a column of spiraling rolled up energy, is the Torah. So that column of energy, that light going down the center of your body, which is rolled up, is the Torah. It is also what is referred to as the Holy Grail, because the energy body, the chakras, they move and they adjust. So the center picture that I've created, you can see that basically there's a couple of funnels going into the center, and you can see how that's shaped like a grail cup. So our body, the Holy Grail that they talk about seeking, is within us, as is every other spiritually referred to item in biblical text, no matter what text that might be in. So the seals, I'm going to add the seals on that so it makes it a little more understandable. The seals of the Torah, aka torsion tube, are the chakras. So the seals are the chakras that must be loosened and opened up. So on the left you see Jesus holding the Torah again. Bottom left you see the Kundalini energy, the medical staff, and the chakra system. On the far right you see that torsion tube. I've added chakras onto it. And then in the center you have how the chakras line up within the center of that torsion tube and the Holy Grail. So the 7 seals that must be loosened and broken free from the torsion tube are the chakras. So the seals are the chakras. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like if you were at the very top of a torsion tube, like say you're looking down upon somebody's crown chakra. This is how I see what happens. It's like you're looking down, you see the crown chakra, then you go down to the third eye, then the throat, then the heart, then the solar plexus, then the second chakra, the sacral, and then the root. See, it's one tube all the way through, going up, going down. So these seals are actually, this is how I see the seals happening within the energy field, is they go up through this tube. And these seals are like templates. Templates related to different consciousness. So the crown chakra is going to be a template that filters out certain aspects based on our consciousness. And then the third eye has its own template that either allows everything in or blocks it, throat, and so forth. So all the way through here, these seals are like limiters. They are templates that we view the world through, and we don't see it exactly as it truly is. So going all the way through takes you through the torsion tube. So the Torah space-time machine is a stargate and a wormhole all in one. So I'm borrowing on the TV series The Stargate, or in the movie, and there's 7 chevrons on the Stargate. That's 7 chakras. And when your 7 chakras are tuned to something, and tuned to something more than just a second, well, you bleep in and out. I'll get into that in a second about the time period. But whenever you tune into something, you're there. The thing about it is, can you hold that reality, or does it fall back apart? And like I said, we'll get into that in a little while. So each chevron on this, each chakra on the toroidal tube is like the chevron on the Stargate. And when they're completely aligned, just like you see that wormhole on the bottom right, you can go anywhere, because this is a multiverse. And not only is it a multiverse, but there are multiple parallel realities. And you bleep in and out of them all the time. So whatever reality you're focusing on with your thoughts and feelings is where you go. So first, the Stargate, the 7 chakras and the chevrons are the 7 chakras and the 7 chevrons are related to one another, and they must be dialed into the exact same thing, place, or reality for you to get there. So you got to tune those in properly to get to where you want to go. The problem is we've got a lot of tuning into realities we don't want to be in. So we're dialed into old patterns. And if we don't change those patterns, we keep winding up in the same reality when we have the ability to change it instantaneously. So once the 7 chakras have been aligned, a portal opens up immediately and you are transported. And you're transported immediately. The thing is you don't realize it because it's happening right here and right now. And it's a subtle change. It's not like you're going to be on some alien planet, which could be possible if you really mastered it. But things change in your life based on your focus. So you're moving through this wormhole of realities. Well, the wormhole takes you into the quantum field where anything is possible. So you're bleeping in and out of different realities all the time based on your consciousness and alignment. And you may not even realize it. So once you align, just like on the right there, you see that animation, that the wormhole opens up and you're there. This is a wormhole whose pattern is very similar to the torsion tube. So this wormhole that you see on the far right, look how it looks like a torsion tube. See if I laid it out flat? So the wormhole represents this torsion tube as well. And by tuning into literally anything, you can be there if you know how to align. And not only align, you gotta stay aligned. And we're going to get into entertaining an idea and owning it, because entertaining an idea doesn't get you there completely, at least not on the physical plane. So the torsion space-time machine, your general train of thoughts and feelings tune or dial you into the world or reality you reside in most of the time. So we all have a particular place that we reside in our life. Whether that's positive or negative, and that's based on our thoughts and feelings. However, I do believe, like I mentioned before, you bleep in and out of this quantum reality. The quantum is in between the physical. It's actually interwoven, but you go through that to wind up wherever you are, and we're bleeping out of different realities all the time. So you're fading in and out so seamlessly that you don't even realize that there's been a shift. But you can look for certain things to see if there is a shift. Are things aligning for you in a positive way? Or are things still working like they used to? What's in our way is our habitual thoughts and feelings. Those control the Stargate, and we're going to get to that in a second. I want to go into a different component that ties into the Stargate to help you understand even more deeply. There are 2 tuners, aka dialers in of the chakras, and those are their heart and your mind. I say there are 2 tuners, but actually there is just one. The heart and mind are not separate, as some believe. They are interconnected. Your mental and emotional aspects are one. If the heart feels something, the mind reacts. If the mind thinks of something, the heart reacts. So the heart and mind are really connected. So we're going to get into the Ark of the Covenant, which I just love how spirituality, how the biblical text have been encoded with this secret information that's been in front of our faces all along. So we're going to look more into the mental component of the dual tuner system. So there's a heart and a brain, but we're going to look at the mind in this go round anyway. So we're looking at the mental component related to the tuner system and its physical components. We're going to start with an important part of the tuning system, which is called the sphenoid bone, which you see here on the left. And the sphenoid bone is literally the Ark of the Covenant. That's not figurative, it's literal. And if you look at this sphenoid bone, I'm going to show you where it's located. The sphenoid bone actually has parts. These outer parts of it are called the greater wings. And if it was inside your skull, it would touch the outer wall of your skull, which actually refers to biblical text. It says the cherub on top of the Ark of the Covenant, their outer stretch, they had one wing that touched the outside wall, and then they had two wings, and these are called the lesser wings right here in the center, and they touch each other. That's biblical text perfectly. It matches. I dare anybody to try to tell me that does not match. It matches completely. So that is the sphenoid bone. People say that it looks like a bat. I say it looks like an owl, and that's why certain systems use the owl shape, but that's another video. Here you can see the sphenoid, how it sets inside. It's like right behind the eyes, right behind the sinuses. In the spinning picture you can see it as it spins around, and it's a very pivotal point, very important point in the skull. And there's a little pocket there that we're going to get into. So that's the sphenoid bone. That's where it's located, right behind the eyes, the nose, and moving forward. The Ark of the Covenant is the temple. So this Ark of the Covenant rests inside the temple, which is your skull. So if you touch the temples, if you touch your temples, you're actually touching the outer wing of both of the sphenoids. That's no accident. That is trying to give you a hint. It's like this Ark of the Covenant, which is supposed to be inside the temple. When you touch your temples, you're touching the Ark of the Covenant, just like this female is doing. So, and now we're going to get into physically going into the Ark of the Covenant. You don't have to do that, but I think it's really interesting just how it correlates. So just like in the Bible, you have to go through the two tent flaps to reach the Ark of the Covenant. So this middle picture is like tent flaps that are pulled back. Very much like, this is actually the skull. This is a membrane inside the skull, and this is the sinus. You can see the shape. It's very much shaped like a tent, even has the middle piece there, and that's where you go through to be able to touch the sphenoid if you're going to do something physical. And right through the nose, just like the Egyptians used to go through the nose and pull out the brain. Another interesting fact is that this membrane, there's three layers of membranes around the brain and the spinal cord, and the membrane is referred to as tentorium, but it could also be tentorium. So here's the tent flap that you go through, and there's the Ark of the Covenant in the Holy of Holies. So the Ark of the Covenant, going through this doorway and entering the Ark of the Covenant, you're right there into this main chamber inside your skull, where we're going to get to in a second. It carries a very important gland, and this gland is key to your stargate, tuning it in and controlling it. So going through the nose, which you don't have to do physically, it's just being aware of where it is. These two doorways, you can see how this purple door in its shape fits perfectly with the sinus bones or the nasal bones. So the pituitary, this is where it gets really cool for me. The pituitary rests in the sella turcica of the sphenoid bone. In this picture here, see how the nose, you go in through the nose and you hit the sphenoid bone right back here. The sphenoid bone, this little pocket of the sphenoid bone, is where the pituitary gland sets. Bam, right there. Sella turcica means Turkish saddle. So this pituitary sits right inside the sphenoid bone. And an interesting thing is that the Ark of the Covenant is said to carry the 10 Commandments. And we're going to get into that in a second. So the sphenoid is said to carry, the Ark of the Covenant is said to carry the 10 Commandments, and the sphenoid bone rests the pituitary. The pituitary saddles right inside there and rides. And we're going to go over another, before I move forward about the pituitary, getting into some other landmarks. The Eye of Horus represents the higher brain and mind. The pupil is the thalamus. The eyebrow is the corpus callosum. The line going down the spine is the spinal cord and the pons. And the spiral going back is going into the cerebellum. The pituitary is at the front of the eye, and the pineal is at the back of the eye. The pituitary is the third eye chakra of light. It's the gland that is associated with light and with our intuition, our inner knowing. This pituitary is looking forward, projecting light. It's projecting our thoughts and feelings and visuals. The pineal gland is our fourth eye that actually looks up through the crown chakra, and it is absorbing light. So we absorb light through the pineal, looking at God, and then we project that light, or lack of it, into reality. So whatever we're projecting into reality, coupled with our stargate, is the reality that we create individually for ourselves and collectively. So here again you see the pituitary on the left, resting right inside of that sphenoid bone, and that's the location, right at the tip of the eye. So I put this little picture together and colored where I believe the eye of Horus fits. Going back to the temple, you think about temple templates. Remember I said the chakras are not only energy vortexes that pull in and out energy, consciousness, and light, but there's like templates that are on top of them. And those templates are limited intellect, limited energy. They keep us held down. And I like the word, like I said, playing with words. And if you look at the word intellect, it's intel. So whatever we're telling ourselves inside is what we're projecting into reality, projecting into the field of consciousness, the quantum field, into the hologram. And that laser beam that we're shooting through our third eye highlights and brings into physical reality what we're projecting out. So we got to get our head straight before we can really create what we want to. So, and we have hundreds of templates, and which affect the physiology, the mental, our biology, everything, our psychology. So these templates are what we want to get rid of to move forward. So going back to the Ark of the Covenant. The pituitary gland is a gland that controls all the other endocrine glands. The two-lobe pituitary is the two stones that the Ten Commandments are written upon. So, remember I said that the sphenoid bone is the Ark of the Covenant and the pituitary is inside? Well, in biblical terms, the Ark of the Covenant carries the two tablets that the Ten Commandments are written on. And if I turn the Ten Commandments upside down here so you can kind of see the two lobes of the pituitary, how similar that is. And the Ten Commandments are the hormones that tell your body what to do. And that's really important because each of the chakras is associated with an endocrine gland, and the hormones being projected to those or sent to those particular endocrines affect the openness or closed down aspect of the chakras. And you can also notice that this pituitary looks like a mushroom upside down. Psychedelics actually blow open the pituitary gland. That's why people get visuals and see light and things like that. But here's a person going to the Ark of the Covenant. They have a mushroom hat. There's no accident. These priests would actually do psychedelics to get in touch with certain things. It's all hidden information right there in front of our face. So the pituitary is the stones that the Ten Commandments, which are hormones, are written upon, and that sits right inside your sphenoid bone. Your thoughts and feelings detect which hormones, which commands you're going to give the endocrines, aka chakras and chevrons. It's important to realize that the key to masterfully using your space-time machine in order to reach your desires and destination is consciously consistent thoughts. You've got to be conscious and consistent about your thoughts, your feelings, and visuals. If you simply entertain an idea momentarily, you will only have that dialed in momentarily. And this is where we mess up. It's like we have an idea, we entertain something, it's there for a moment, and then it's gone the next. I had a really cool experience in the last Reiki class that I taught. There were people around the table, one person's on the table, and someone tells the person on the table to entertain an idea. And as the person entertained that idea, their energy field instantly changed. But here's the thing is we have so many habitual patterns that he entertained that for a moment. But as soon as he got up and got into his normal life, the entertainment of that idea stopped. And therefore, he no longer was stargated or tuned into that new reality. Does that make sense? Because it's really important to get. If you only entertain ideas, you're only going to touch that reality for a moment. Because here's the thing, as soon as you align to something, you're there. You're there in that reality. The hard part is, can you maintain the reality that you want? Or are you all over the place? It's like putting the scan button, hitting the scan button on your car radio, and you go through all the stations and you're not able to pick and choose which one you stay on. It's like going, going, going. So you've got to get consistently conscious with your thoughts, your feelings, and visuals. And of course your actions come out of those three things, but you got to get your thoughts, your feelings, and visuals conscious and consistently conscious, because those are tuning you instantaneously. So if you just entertain an idea momentarily, then that reality, you can only own it momentarily. So basically the space-time machine is tuning your thoughts, feelings, and visuals into what you really want. That releases the hormones, which dictates the chakras are opened or closed, how they're working, which aligns you to that reality, along with feelings, the thoughts, and the visuals. That gets your toroidal field spinning a particular way, holding a different frequency, and bam, you're in that reality. That's how it works on the level of physical, metaphysical. So it comes down to owning your thoughts and feelings consistently and consciously. That releases the hormones, lines up the endocrine glands, which makes the chakras align up. Your toroidal field takes you there. You're there. That about sums it all up. This is kind of a short one. There's so much more to go into, but that covers it in a nutshell. I wanted to try to keep it a little bit shorter than usual. So hope that helps. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.